How about taking a few potatoes that you might not eat and turning them into, well, a whole bushel full of potatoes? I'll show you how. You know, there's just something about potatoes that I love. I love to eat them and I love to grow them. And even though most of us don't have enough room to grow a lot of potatoes, you can grow potatoes in a bushel basket. And I'm going to show you how to do that. The first thing you do is you start with some potatoes, and you can buy seed potatoes at a feed store or some current farm store. And I like to plant my potatoes by Valentine's Day if I can, because potatoes really like it cool. Now these are some potatoes that I had left over from last year, and they got a little shriveled and they don't look that great. But this is a variety called a Kennebec. And what you want to do when you're growing some of your own potatoes, you can use potatoes that you buy at the grocery store as long as they've gotten a little old and you can actually see an eye emerging like this. What happens with potato growers is they'll actually put a retardant on potatoes, and those potatoes are unlikely to grow and make new potatoes. So that's why you want to look for this. Now what I would do on a potato like this is there's an eye here and there's an eye here, and I would cut that potato in half. And what I'll do is I'll get 2 potato plants out of that. What I'm going to do here today is I'm just going to cut my potatoes in pieces that will allow for me to have as many pieces of potatoes as possible that have an eye, and I'm laying the cut side up so that potato will dry. You don't want to plant it immediately in the ground. You want it to sit. You can sit for 24 hours, just like that. You don't want them to dry up. You do want that to callus over just a little bit. You don't want to plant it wet. Now, if a potato is rotten or soft, you don't want to mess with it. And on some of these little bitty ones, like that little guy right there, I just go ahead and plant it just the way it is, and I wouldn't cut it into 2 pieces. So I cut this potato, you can see, and it's got some rod in it. So I'll just take the knife and I'm going to cut that rod out like that. There's no reason why, if that dries, that potato won't grow. So when you plant the potatoes in the ground, you see this is a 100-foot row. I'm going to plant those pieces when they dry 2 feet apart, so I can put 50 pieces in here, and I can plant this full row of potatoes. There's no telling how many bushels of potatoes that'll produce. Or I can take 2 pieces of those potatoes and I can put them in here and plant them at about 8 inches deep, and that's what I'll do. And you won't believe the number of potatoes that you can dump out of that bushel basket. Fun project for kids. If you like these ideas for having a little fun and producing some food out in the garden, tell a friend about them, and make sure you subscribe to ehowhome.